Trust, a non-profit, non-political, and non-sectarian organization on the roster of the Economic and Social Council of the United Nations, and concerned with the establishment of world cooperation and goodwill, presents Inner Sight with your host, Robert Anderson. He, with Sarah and Dale McKechnie, President and Vice President of Lucis Trust, will discuss philosophical and spiritual topics essential to everyday life. Now here's your host, Robert Anderson.
Welcome. Inner sight is simply seeing that which is always present, but not yet fully recognized. You have, within you, the ability to see yourself and the world around you in a new way with new eyes. So, stay with us, and together we'll look at the world and ourselves with inner sight. Our topic for today is the third eye. And before we get started with exploring this topic, I just want to say that we have a gift for you, and we'll tell you more about that gift and how you can order it a little later on in the show. Also, the main inspiration for the dialogue that you hear on this show is from the works of Alice Bailey, who wrote 24 volumes of literature. She's also the founder of the Lucis Trust organization. And also the following thought is from the works of Alice Bailey. The third eye reveals the light to be found in the heart of every form of divine manifestation. Why does that statement refer to just a single eye instead of the two eyes we all have?
There's a real spiritual significance behind what's called the third eye. That term might be familiar to a lot of our listeners. Certainly there are a couple of images from mythology that people will recognize that are associated with the third eye. One is that weird creature from Greek mythology, the Cyclops, who was sort of, I think, a monster.
Oh, yeah.
not a good thing, bad thing. The other is the unicorn, the animal from mythology with the single horn that juts out from its forehead. That's also a symbol of the third eye. We all obviously have two eyes, but there is a third eye that exists in the etheric or energy body. And we've talked about that etheric or energy body that we all have on past programs. It can't be seen by the normal eyes, but it's what we could call a vehicle or a body that surrounds our outer physical body, and which is the energy conductor, both into the physical, astral, and mental bodies, and from the physical, emotional, and mental bodies. We distribute energy through it, and we receive energy through the etheric body. The third eye exists in that energy body. The Ageless Wisdom says that the two physical eyes have a function, one, the left eye being the eye of the concrete mind, the normal rationalizing mind, and the right eye being the eye of pure reason or intuition, of spiritual understanding, and then uniting but transcending them both is what's called the third eye.
And that third eye is related in a way to the physical gland called the pineal gland.
Is that how you pronounce that, pineal?
Well, that's the way I pronounce it.
Well, then it must be right. I've heard it said something.
But it isn't the pineal gland. It is related to it. So it's kind of the physical counterpart of that etheric eye, or that etheric center, or etheric capacity that we have. It's a very ancient capacity that was more prominent and more awake way back before man was even man, I think. And as the two physical eyes have developed over the eons, this inner subjective eye or capacity to see is kind of receded to the background and has been taken its place by the physical eyes, which enable the person to see through the physical world.
And to use the mind, probably, right? To use the rationalizing, so-called concrete mind and reason.
And now we're at that point where we've evolved to this point where the mind is more active, it is awakened, and it is now very more receptive to the energies of the soul. So this inner spiritual eye is beginning to awaken again. And that's what it brings through the energies of the soul. It enables the soul energies to come pouring in to the lower mind.
I like the realization that's expressed in that opening thought, that the third eye reveals the light to be found in the heart of every form of divine manifestation, because that orients the attention to the physical world, for which we developed the two eyes you've just talked about. We are meant to be at home in the world and to not try to escape it, to be here, to be present, and to serve the natural world and all the kingdoms that share the planet with us. And yet at the same time, this third eye gives us the capacity to recognize the light that exists in the heart of every form of divine manifestation. To me, that suggests that our goal should not be to escape from the world if we're on a spiritual path, but instead to bring light into the world.
The third eye enables us to see into the inner world, the inner spiritual world of the soul. Just as the physical eyes enable us to see the physical world and the environment and all around us, the phenomenal world, the developing spiritual third eye will enable us to see the realm of the soul, and that's why it's called the eye of the soul.
When you think about it, everything that exists has some soul consciousness, according to the ageless wisdom. Even the atom and the molecule are an expression of the anima mundi, or the world soul. And to be able to recognize and awaken the light of the soul within all forms is a tremendous service. It's what, for example, scientists do through their work. They're working in the natural realm to awaken the light of the form, don't you think?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, they work down at the level of the atom and then the subparticles of the atom, and that is reaching down into the realm of light.
And in fact, they're making great progress in the study of atomic life and life on the cellular level. Not only are they studying the cosmos, but they're studying the reverse of it, or the opposite of it, the cell, and making great strides in their understanding.
The third eye is the eye of direction. It directs and enables the soul to begin to direct the lower personality nature, and that's when there's an alignment established between the personality, the outer personal life, with the soul. Then this alignment enables the energies of the soul to pour through the eye into the lower personality and begin to direct its progress in the world and give it qualities and energies that then can be directed into human consciousness and human activities.
The yogi, the spiritually realized individual, is one who has trained himself, or who has reached a point where he can direct that light that you're speaking of in any direction, and he can use it to illumine any subject. The teachings say that all knowledge is at the disposal of the yogi through this third eye. Well, that might be the goal to which we can aspire, but all of us, I think, can begin to use the light that's within us and trust in our capacity to direct it upon any circumstance or situation that we are within, or any problem that we're facing. I've always thought, that old bromide that God never gives anyone a burden that is beyond his capacity to bear. Well, there's truth in that, and I wonder if it relates to this